to being. Hope is a being as well as a word. Hate is a being. These things become internal monsters or good spirits depending on themselves. But everywhere there has to be this realization of the tremendous potential of being the thing we need to be. We must gradually awaken to the fact that this universe is essentially beautiful, that the Garden of Eden is still here, that all of the nobility of existence awaits release, and fantasy, the constructive fantasy, is the individual dreaming of a better world and building a foundation under the dream. Dreams come through to lead us to new certainties. Nightmares do the same. And they both use the same kind of energy, but it is differentiated by the organism through which it passes. The hater uses more energy to hate, the lover more energy to love. The proper use of the energy resources is the cleansing of the Aegean stable in the labors of Hercules. It is also the symbol, always, of the redemption of lost souls. The lost souls are ourselves, but also the lost souls are the beauties that we have corrupted. The lost soul is harmony that we have tamed into inharmony. The lost soul is joy which remained turned into grief. The lost soul is hope which we have transformed into fear. They are all uses of the same great energy powers. They are the same uses that we have to make in terms of our internal lives. In external, we have to plant farming, we have to get crops, we have to find various ways of feeding the world as we try to do. These are the physical things. In the emotional world, we also have to have our crops, our sowing and our reaping. We have to build materials there that become part of sustaining the integrities of life. And these integrities are sustained in two ways, either from below or from above. As they are sustained from below when we create beauty and do lovely things and make wonderful poems and write great books. All these things inspire and lift the individual toward reality. On the opposite side, we have an inner life of dreams and hopes and aspirations, of love and affection, integrities. And as we cultivate these from above downward, the beauties of below come up to meet, and then we have a beautiful world. We have a world and things are done as they should be, and that we enjoy the results of this doing because it was something that we were intended to do from the beginning. There never was a time when the world was not supposed to grow. And now we have so many problems that it seems as though something more than ourselves must be to blame. We wonder whether or not the nuclear fission has rocked the foundations of heaven. It hasn't. But it is going to rock the foundations of misuse of knowledge. We have 2 and 3 great abuses that we have to watch for. Abuse of knowledge, which can lead to the most terrible difficulties. Abuse of affections, the exploitation of the natural love of the individual, of beauty and personal affections. The cleansing of the personal affectionate relationships of human beings is absolutely essential to the final ending of war. It is a well-established home, with people sacrificing a little of themselves always for the good of the family, accepting responsibility with dignity, and working together without losing individuality. This makes the home, and this is what the nations are going to have to do to make a world that can survive. So all these principles work, and they work because behind the physical sources of good, there is this invisible source of energies which express themselves as we create bodies for them. A good thought becomes a body for a beautiful energy supply. The individual who wants to paint a beautiful picture, and with prayerfulness and integrity and honesty asks a little spiritual guidance in the picture will get it. And the individual who asks only for corruption will get that also. So we have this strange world of fantasy, imagination, call it if you will, the world of the astral light, where thoughts are things, where moods are realities, and where things in this world seem very much less real than they do to us. But in this world of fantasy is the world of our hope for tomorrow. Fantasy, beautiful fantasy, is building tomorrow. Fantasy is creating the world that must be. It will come, but it will not come unless men dream it, unless human beings begin to realize the importance of it. When we use the natural resources of this world well, we will be secure. When we use the resources of this invisible realm around us, real and true, we will have peace of mind, we will have health, we will have natural and noble emotions, and we will have dedications to causes and principles that are worthwhile. The universe has everything in it, good, bad, and indifferent, so-called. The bad, however, is not a principle. The bad is a misuse. It is the result of constant compromising. It is the result of selfishness, ignorance, and fear. And these things can only be cured by the love of God, the strength of the mind, and the dedication of the life. These things together will solve most of these problems. They're not insolvable. They're simply things we pay no attention to. We just keep on going along, hoping the unpleasant things will go away. They will never go away unless we send them away, and the only way we can send them away is by transforming them. They will not leave us, but we can create a new body for them, by means of which problems become donations to our security and our future. Every problem that we have is a blessing in disguise. Every sorrow that comes to us is a great opportunity for the experience of divine peace and joy. All these things are things we have to change. And if we were just physical people with minds and things like this, we'd never change them. But because of this strange world of mysterious causes behind us, this infiniteness of ourselves, so that we are not really just little people wandering around in our own little homes and streets and cities, but we are symbols, we are points of energy in the world. And behind each one of us is an inconceivable totality, a reservoir of infinite strength, infinite beauty, infinite reality. If we turn it on, we will have it. If we turn it on honestly, the shadows will disappear. For there is not enough darkness in all the world to put out the light of a single candle. Everything can be the way it should be. Everything can be beautiful. Everything can be fulfilled. Because the fulfillment, the energy is there. Heaven is not somewhere off in space. Heaven is in the upper realms of ourselves and our world. Heaven is where we make the right decisions and are glad. And having made these decisions, we cooperate with the earth to preserve it and to help it to serve us as wisely as it should. The astral light, then, is not just a place where you turn on a ritual, make a circle somewhere on a crossroad, and invoke demons, and try to protect yourself by putting yourself in a circle so the demon cannot get to you, but it can get to someone else. All of this is superstition belonging to the past. Anyone who favors it can favor it, and will have a reality from it, a fantasy that is not true, a fantasy which can curse and endanger the soul for many, many years, a fantasy that brings sorrow, misery, fear, disillusionment, discouragement. These are the fantasies that come from not dreaming true. Dreams are beautiful. The nightmares give us trouble. And the nightmare, as always, is the cause of something we ate that we shouldn't have eaten. And it is also caused by something we thought we shouldn't have thought, some emotion we should not have endured, or some belief that is doing us no good. So we have to correct these things. But the interesting point is the energy. The nightmare has to have energy. The nightmares can be so real that it is more immediate than anything that happens in daylight. The dream can be so real. In a dream we can travel around the world. In a dream we can go to all the different nations out into space. We can conquer where the great scientific progresses of man can never go. The dreams are tremendous realities, and yet they are merely the stuff of fantasy.